Hey YouTube, so if you're watching this video, you have a ReadyLift and you want to do it yourself now. The reason I'm doing this video is because I hate redoing videos, but I looked at a lot of lift videos trying to see, hey, can I do it myself? And I wanted to, but there were so many videos that either weren't very specific, it wasn't my vehicle, they skipped steps that I thought were critical, especially if you're someone that is actually a DIY, trying to do it yourself, but not wanting to risk, your death because you either did it wrong. They just weren't very specific enough, and they weren't very detailed enough. So I wanted to do this video for those that actually want to do a lift, but they want to make sure they do it right. And to make sure that you know I'm doing it right, I called around, I verified, and it is right. It looks good, everything's good. Now I'm gonna go through this lift video as if you are a novice, because when I did this, I have never installed a lift before. I called around some dealerships, and they told me it was about 6 to 8 hours of work. And that looked at about $600 to $700 that I did not want to spend. So I looked at the instructions, a couple of notes of what I wish I knew beforehand. Now, first things first, ReadyLift, awesome customer service. A gal named Allison just hooked me up when I had challenges. But when it comes to the instructions, a couple of notes. If you're reading the instructions and you've never done a lift before, although you are maybe handy, it might confuse you because the instructions are for multiple different vehicle applications. It can get confusing. One example, I found that it was talking about the list of materials you're supposed to have, the hardware. I was supposed to have 2 of something, but I actually needed 3. So it would talk about installation of a certain piece that was a different color, and you'll notice, for those that are doing this, talk about the bump stops. In the instruction video, it's white. I wasn't sure whether this was the same, but hey, I didn't know any better, and I didn't understand that this was it. So just a couple of things I wish I knew. Another thing I'll tell you, just what that I wish I knew. If you don't have tools, maybe an array of tools, or if you're like myself, who currently not at home, I'm in another state where I work, running a house, and so I don't have all my tools. If you don't have those tools, you're gonna have to spend about $50 to $100 in tools to be able to get this job done. There's some specific tools that you'll need, and there's some other tools that are just generic that are very good to have if you're gonna get this done. Lastly, I will tell you, time-wise, it will take you about a day. Now, that's if you don't have the tools right? For me, I had to go, search here and there because my tools, when I am at home, they're very organized. But here, if you have it organized, it'll shave off at least 4 hours of having to look for different tools. But also, one last thing I wish I knew. If you're going to do the differential yourself, you got to either have 2 jacks or get a buddy to come help you. All he has to do is just do the jack. You'll see that later in the video, because getting that differential, lifting it is not a problem, but you gotta get someone to lift while you shimmy. And unless you're the Hulk, doing both you're gonna find that hard to come by. So 2 people to get that differential up. I got it out myself, but I needed a second person. But that said, guys, it turned out really well. You can do it yourself. I was scared to do it myself initially because I didn't know how. But I tell you, with this video, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to order a lift and do it yourself. So that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and list the things that you need. And hey, I hope you enjoy it. Throw some comments down if there's some things I missed. Thanks guys for watching. Here are all the tools that you need. All right, so here's an array of the basic or the specialty kind of tools that you need. You definitely need a jack. I would suggest 2 jacks. 2 specifically if you have to put the differential back together yourself, you definitely will need a second jack to hold it and 1 for you to jack up yourself. I end up having to get 2 people for that. Breaker bar, a crowbar, doesn't have to be that long, but at least half that length would work. Definitely a cheater bar. You need a hammer, one that's more heavy duty works as well, but that one worked for me. A dead blow, definitely need the pliers. I use that for getting the vent tube off of the differential, a little hook to get the cotter key off of the upper control arm nut, and some of these panel clip pliers to remove some of the panel clips off of the shroud, and of course all this the 3/8 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch ratchet. And I'm not going to list it all. I mean, again, it's all everywhere, but just go ahead, just get a whole from 6 to 20 socket set and wrench set. I ended up having to go to Harbor Freight and buy this set. I just had to. It'll cost you about 10, 15 bucks, but trust me, it'll save your life instead of having to go through and do it over and over and stop and go. So just get a whole set of sockets. That should be all you need. So again, remember, grab it all, and you won't have to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I think that's it. Oh, also, you definitely will need some Loctite. Grab some Loctite, some lubricant, and some, and that should do it. Loctite and some lubricant should be the last thing. So let's get started. First thing, just to give you a quick overview, we're gonna take out the tires. We're gonna remove the upper control arm, replace it with the ReadyLift control arm with the ReadyLift bushings. Remove the strut, put the spacers on the struts. Go ahead and remove the front drive shaft, cut some of the fins on the differential so that the new spacers can fit. Put those components on, go to the rear, remove them, remove the coils, put the spacers there, and put all the bump stop. Put this plate in. You know it's bad outside when you're using a heat gun just to keep your hands warm. All right, got the front end done. That's what the front end of a lifted Suburban should look like.